Alright, welcome back. What we're going to do today is we're going to try to figure out how we can navigate our Promethean board. It's going to be new, not everybody has these boards yet, but there's going to be a lot of really cool things we can do to change how our lessons are presented and engage our class. But the first thing we need to do is we got to figure out how do we actually do the basics of our Promethean board. So we're going to have our home screen. Mine's customized. Yours is going to be a little bit different. If yours is brand new installed, it's going to be orange and things like that. We can talk another time later about how to actually change this up. But we're going to notice that on the bottom, on the right, and on the left, we're going to see little arrows. And if we touch the border just outside these arrows, we're going to notice they pop open with options. So on the left, you can go from the right where it opens up, or you can go from the bottom where it's going to open up. All three locations are going to allow you to open up the general idea of where your major icons are going to be from anywhere on the board. There's also going to be a glowing fire button that's on the physical keypad in the middle bottom part. If you click that, it's going to open up the one on the very bottom. Okay. So what we're going to see is we're going to see a whole bunch of different kind of icons, and we're going to kind of go a little bit by little bit on how we're going to have these things work. So number one, I think probably the most important one that most of you will use right off the bat is going to be our whiteboard icon. If I click on whiteboard, it's going to allow us to have a full, what we call a sandbox whiteboard, which is an unlimited whiteboard that I can go ahead and do a bunch of different things with. I'll go ahead and if I want, I can kind of select my pen, I can select my color, and I can kind of write whatever I want on that board. I can move things around, and I can see that in the right-hand corner, I have this whole idea of where my thing is. I can take that and I can move this, and it's really useful. I can take the side of my hand and I can erase, and it becomes a really nice thing. If I have two students and I want them to actually kind of both come up and do something, I have a split screen icon, and now I have an area on the left and an area on the right where both my students can come up simultaneously and actually work with. This thing can actually have multiple points of contact. I think when we were trained, it was something like over 15 or 20 points of contact if we wanted to actually have multiple students up here doing different things. So right now we'll get into the whiteboard at another time, but that's going to be our whiteboard app and how we can actually access it. Again, down below, if we want to kind of switch between a few things, we have other things like, for example, our home. Our home button just turns us to that general home screen. This is going to be nice, and if you want to just have a clock in the front of your classroom and items like that. Back to here, we have capture. Capture is just going to do a screen capture of whatever we have on the screen. So if I hit that, it does a screen capture, and I can actually now open it in my whiteboard if I wanted to, or I can close it, and I can crop it if I want it smaller or bigger. But if I hit that and I go on to open in the whiteboard now, it's going to open up the whiteboard app. Takes a small moment. There we go. And now I have that picture on my whiteboard, and I can do different things with it. I can actually move it around, I can edit it, I can color over it, I can do whatever I need to do. And I can have that. So if I were to have a piece of student work or something like that, I can use that capture option, bring it into my whiteboard, and I can actually add that to what I'm talking about, which is really nice. Going back below, right? We also have Annotate. Annotate is different than Whiteboard. Annotate creates an overlay. So if I wanted to have something and I hit this, it's going to create a nice little overlay option that no matter where I am, whether it is on our home screen or things like that, that Annotate thing follows me. So that lets me write on my board wherever I want. So unlike the Whiteboard option, this lets me kind of write anywhere from being on the web browser to things like that. So if I were to go ahead later on and open up Google and I went somewhere and I wanted to kind of show the kids oh, this is where we live or something like that, I have the Annotate option open, and it lets me draw directly on wherever I am. I can close that out right there by hitting the X. Source, this is going to be really important. If you want to jump between your Promethean board and your computer or anything else that's going to be put in right here, we can hit source, and we're going to see our option things plugged in. So right now, if I have HDMI 2, I can go ahead and I can click that, and what we're going to see is it's going to allow me to actually jump to my computer. A few other things. Recent apps, if I put that open, it's going to show all the apps that I've had recently open, so I can go ahead and actually go right back to them. So it's kind of like switching between windows or things like that within those. ActiveCast, we're going to leave for another day. That's going to be a whole other thing where it's going to allow your students, once they have their devices, to basically beam their devices up to the Promethean board and share their screens as that kind of goes. The other big one, though, is going to be your locker. If you hit locker, it allows you to open up lots of different other icons. This is basically all of your other apps that are installed. All right. So on this, you're going to have things like your Chromium, which is going to be your web browser. This is already going to be installed for you, and that's going to allow you to actually go in here and type something. But again, if I wanted to, I don't know, write something on Google, I could hit this, I could hit Annotate, and now I have my Annotate option. And I could draw something on here, like, oh, look at how the big G and the small g are the same color, or whatever you needed to do. Again, I can leave that out, and that kind of takes it away. Back to the locker, again, we have other options. We can access our files. Two other really nice ones to get while we're up here is going to be our timer. Our timer is going to offer a quick timing overlay that goes over anywhere you have it. It follows you whether you're going home or whatever. And I can change this up. And I can actually have multiple timers up in my class. So if I wanted to have them do this, I wanted to have them do this. So we have 3 different things going on. I can have all these different timers running simultaneously with my class. Again, back to my locker. I have a camera option. Camera option is only going to work if you plug in a USB webcam to your Promethean board. Otherwise, it's not going to show anything else. Other things, if you have any of your Microsoft apps installed, all of those will be up there as well, and things like that. So it's a lot of really nice things. There's lots more we can cover, but right now this is just the general navigation of our home buttons and how these things are going to work and what each of those basic things are going to do. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know, and I will see you next time. Bye.